I was in 10th grade.
Yeah.
Before I had indoor.
We brought we called blocks. We brought it over to the house. Marvin came down. Spencer dug the hole.
Randy.
And Marvin came down and he laid the blocks. And then he did the inside, all the inside. It's only it's not very big, you know. Not about as long as this table, and this wide, you know, and that's it. That's it. And that has never been pumped since Bobby Sundquist was alive.
You're serious?
I'm serious, and I told Corinne, I said, you know, one of these days,
Oh no.
I said, you got to get that pump. Well, it's nothing happens. Well, one of these days it's going to start coming through the wall in the house, you know, because the walls is 2 feet. It's all stone. It's all stone in there. That's why it's just going in the stone somewhere, you know. Yeah. Sure.
So when you were young, what did you dream of doing or being when you grew up?
You know, I always wanted to be a mechanic. That's what I wanted.
That's why you tinkered with the cars.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do.
What about you, Mom?
Well, when I was young, I loved to swing. I wore out 2 limbs, I think. Daddy had to move the swing because they used to throw the rope over the limb. But I thought, and I see the planes go by, I thought one day I would like to be a stewardess. You know, the ladies that work at it. I want to fly. Yeah, fly. But then as I got older, really, I'm living my dream. I want to be a wife and a mother, and I like to keep house, and I like what I'm doing. Yeah. I never thought I'd be a pastor's wife, you know. But I remember staying at the Lindblom's house when he was pastor there, and Lois Lindblom was a friend of mine. She was younger than me, but I spent the night at their house, and before we went to bed, they prayed, you know, with us, and when we ate, they said, you know, grace. We called it grace before you ate and everything. And I thought, I wonder what it would be like to grow up in a pastor's house and they prayed at every meal. we prayed on Sundays for our Sunday noon meal, didn't we? We always prayed on Sunday.
Oh yes.
For our dinner on Sunday. That was.
And every Sunday morning, you could smell the meat.
Yep.
Roast.
Pork and beef.
And
that made the best gravy.
And I couldn't stand the smell of meat on Sunday morning.
Huh.
I didn't
well,
like
you know
the smell.
what? I have a problem with smelling meat early in the morning too.
Yeah,
I don't really like that.
To this day.
If I go in a restaurant, like I worked at the Fair store, and they'd had the 5 and dimes, you know, down in Woolworths and stuff, and I would smell what they had cooking on there, and it almost just made me sick.
Yeah, I don't know why that was, because it was so good. You know, come home from church, and we all sat down and ate. I mean, the homemade gravy and everything, and the pie and cakes.
Cakes. Mama made a lot of cakes.
And homemade bread.
Yep, always.
Just come out of the oven.
Always. Bread.
Oh, makes your mouth water.
Okay, so Uncle Franny, I want you to talk about Mom for a little bit, and tell me what you remember about her growing up from your perspective.
4 years apart, so it's a little bit hard to really handle it.
Was she spoiled?
Oh, of course she was.
Big no.
But you know, she was the youngest, so you know, you're picking on her all the time, you know.
You were the baby boy.
Yeah, I know you said that too. But that's the way it was anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, we never fought. You know, there was no fighting or anything like that. A little shoving, push, but
Words.
words. Oh yeah, words. Yeah.
What was your favorite song to sing to her when you wanted to get her angry?
I didn't sing.
You did too.
Did I?
You ain't nothing but home.
Oh yeah,
Cry all the time.
Elvis. Yeah. Yes.
He made me cry.
I loved Elvis so. And I sang to the cows in the barn. Same thing. You eat cows, years ago I go up there. Yeah, I always sang in the barn. You know, Rodney never did, but I always did. Sometimes he had a radio on, and Dad, he liked to listen to music too. But yeah, he always loved music. So.
The radio's on.
So, Mom, what do you remember about Uncle Franny growing up from your perspective? Like, how did you view him as a sibling?
He was always busy. Always busy. I don't know. But anyway, when I'd have a girlfriend come over, I think I only had 2 that would come over and spend the night. Because when they'd spend the night, they say, "Oh, it must be so much fun being married." Being married.
Woo!
So
Okay.
much fun. So much fun having a brother like that in the house, you know. And I went, ugh. and so they say, "Oh, he is so, you know, he's so nice. He's so good looking. He's so much fun." That was the last time they stayed at my house. One night. They thought more. They wanted to be with him more than they wanted to be with me. So then they were done.
Oh, that's so fun. So, what do you remember about? Is it Laverne that's the oldest?
No, Spencer.
Spencer. Okay, so tell me what you remember about Spencer growing up.
You know, not too much because I was just a little kid, you know. But I know that he worked for this contractor. It was 2 older guys, and they used to have horses and a slusher, and they did Wickstrom's house, Bob and Pat Wickstrom, and they had dug out the basement, and that's nothing but clay, and it's hard to dig in clay. So they only got down maybe 5 feet. So that's why today, if you went down the basement, you got a duck, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he worked for them. So I didn't remember much on the farm because, well, 17 he was gone, you know.
Yeah. How many years older is he than you?
Oh, gee whiz. Spencer was, when he was 17, I was just a little kid. So
8 years.
8 years, yeah. 8 years old.
Because it's 4 between us.
Yeah, it's 4 between us.
12 between Spencer
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And it was kind of sad at first, but then nice to see him come home, you know, with that uniform on. Gee, that looked like nice. Yeah. And it was a picture of him and Aunt Ellen in Bark River by the restaurant. He was a private then. Yeah. And he had that 1940 Plymouth. I got that picture. Somebody gave it to me. I don't know. I think, well, not Lenore, but Kenny's wife gave it to me, I think.
Joan.
Joan. Yeah, and I still have it. I don't know where it is right now. Yeah. That was nice.
So, Mom, what do you remember about Spencer? Do you remember anything?
You know, I was only about 4 when he went into the service.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember him coming home, and I was afraid of him because of the uniform. And he always liked to play the piano and
Yeah.
sing with Laverne. He put his arm around Laverne. I think he missed Laverne so much because they were so close, only 13 months apart. And he would chord and sing and yodel. But I noticed that when he came back from the service is when he would always want to go down to the bar.
Yes.
And he was smoked, and he never smoked. I never saw him smoke at all until he came back from the service.
He quit right away, too.
But when he came back, and he was going to he had a white Ford, 50 Ford, and it had a push-button start.
Yeah.
And he was going to take me up to the road because he was going to work at the feed mill, and he was going to take me up to the road, and that car wouldn't start because I had to catch the bus. So he was going to give me a ride up there. And it wouldn't start, and he was mad, and he said some things that were not good. I just sat there. And so he went underneath the hood, and pretty soon he slammed the hood, and we started walking to the house, and he looked back, and he says, "What are you doing in there? Get out!"
Oh my gosh, that's Randy.
Yeah. But you know,
And I thought, oh, okay.
that Spencer
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to move.
He couldn't fix anything.
Oh.
He was no mechanic. He couldn't fix anything.
But he was a mechanic in the Air Force.
Well, yeah, but
He worked on planes.
he could do more electrical than anything.
Okay.
Electric motors.
I know he worked on planes.
Yes. But no, he couldn't fix it. If it didn't start, he slammed the door, slammed the hood, whatever it was.
Yeah, he would get mad easily.
Yeah, right away.
I was always afraid kind of him.
Okay.
And he never checked the oil until the gauge went to 0. And that gauge. We never did it. We always made sure ours would full all the time,
But he liked to sing. I remember that.
Yes, he did. Yes.
And when it so happened that in Gladstone, I made a tape of hymns and of Christmas songs on one side, Christmas hymns, and then other hymns. And I sent him a tape for Christmas. I sent each one of my siblings a tape. I sent you one too.
Probably did.
Yeah, and I told him that I had only had 6 months of piano lessons, but I had asked the Lord to use my hands for His glory, and as a result, I'm sending you this tape. And I guess when he got that tape and played it, he cried because
Really?
he had no idea I even played piano.
Wow.
See, there's so many years between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colette said he couldn't get over it.
But I you know, remember when you started blowing that horn?
Oh, trumpet?
Trumpet?
Cornet, yeah.
And as soon as
Old Rusty.
I drove me nuts, you know. Get out of here. Go outside. Anyway. And then the dog would howl.
He was so.
And he'd follow Charlotte. She'd grab it. And
Yeah.
as soon as he heard that click,
Yep. I told Tom that. He would yell. You just howl. And if I was
Oh,
playing outside
crazy.
on the porch, he would come and he'd jump at it. He'd want to just bite it.
Oh.
He hated it. It sounded to his ears.
He was trying so hard to tell you.
That ears were
And he
doing
would run from the barn all the way down, out the back. I mean,
Oh
But
my
she could play
goodness.
good. She really could play good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So what about Laverne? What do you remember about her growing up?
Oh, Laverne, she used to help Dad deliver milk in Bark River.
Yeah.
And she also had to take care of me. So
That was a full-time job.
the milk house, when they were doing the milk, you know, and she had to tie me up to the clothesline.
Oh, is that
To
where you
the
got on the
tree.
leash?
She told me she tied you to a tree.
I went to a tree too, and I just got on the end and holler.
Yeah, you had a rope
Right.
there. Yeah.
Drove her nuts, you know.
She put toys.
Yeah.
She put toys around him. She told me.
But then she'd go to Bark River and they had like a quart bottles. They sold at the co-op store, and they go over to Swift's, you know, 1 or 2 gallons, and that was it. You know, just a little extra money.
But she did that because you ran away.
Yeah.
You were gone.
Yeah.
When they
But
turned
she,
around.
Rodney was always after her.
Mm.
Because she was up in the hay mound. She's throwing hay down too, you know.
Yeah, her and Rodney never got
No,
along.
they never get along. And he made her stay in the barn until he was done what he was doing before she allowed him away.
No,
Yeah.
they weren't always sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
That's really funny.
Nobody, no fist fights or anything like that. You know that.
Yeah.
And our dad never did anything here like that, you know, except that time when Spencer was home and Rodney. One of them were painting a desk in the kitchen.
Mhm.
I don't know which one. One of them were painting a desk in the kitchen, red paint or something. So anyway, one for Spencer or Rodney took the brush and swished the other one across the face with it.
Oh boy.
And all hell broke loose. So anyway, Mom said, Franny, go get that. So I went around the corner and I forgot about that barbed wire being there and hit me right here, you know. Then, you know, I was bleeding when I got out there and I told him what happened. He says, I'll be right there. You come in the house, you're up close to the stairway, going at it, and he snapped his fingers. Which one wants to go first? He said, I'll take both of you on one at a time. Yeah. Then they stopped right there. They stopped. Yeah.
Wow.
That was the end. That was the end.
So what about Uncle Rodney? Like, what do you remember about him growing up?
He was kind of boss me, but actually we worked together when we were doing it, especially automobiles. We're always working on them, so he would help me and then I'd help him. You know.
Okay.
But there's sometimes we got into it. I mean, we got into it where I didn't have no T-shirt on except a piece around here. You know, we got in a fist fight. He had a false tooth in the front. So I told him I was going to nail him. He says, he laughed at me and wham, I hit him right in the mouth. Knocked it out, you know. Anyway, he got a hold of me and tore my T-shirt, nothing but pieces on it. You know. Then Ma come out and jumped in, so. Yeah. Other than that, if we didn't get along together or something happened, if he got into it with somebody, we both together, you know.
Yeah.
We were both together. One helped the other one.
What about you, Mom? What do you remember about Uncle Rodney?
Uncle Rodney, he kind of stuck up for me. You know, like when Franny and I were going at it or something like that. Rodney
Oh,
would
sure.
stick up for me.
Yeah.
You know, but Rodney was pretty, not dominating, but he, you know, he always knew where he stood, and was opposite kind of what other people. He was different, wasn't he? I mean, that way almost like political, you know.
I think he had high blood pressure too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was supposed to go into the service, and they
He
couldn't
couldn't.
get his blood pressure down.
Wouldn't come down.
They even had to go away party for him and everything downtown. And he got to Milwaukee. They thought, well, they'll put him on the bus, get him to Milwaukee, and then if they can get his blood pressure down one time, he would go in. But they came up like 4 o'clock in the morning to take it. So anyway, they sent him back home. So he came back home. And he kind of hated to come back home, but he really didn't want to go to begin with.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
He was drafted.
Oh, okay.
But he
So he had heart problems then.
he get frustrated just,
Frustrated easily.
and he would never apologize.
Yeah.
He never say I'm sorry until he got sick. He didn't feel good, and he had me over there doing stuff. He said, "Thank you very much," and that was never said before. Yeah. So, things were getting bad then. But that's the way because he did have high blood pressure. Well, he had a heart attack at 49 years old.
He had open heart surgery.
Open heart surgery, that was the end of his work.
So if you could leave advice for your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, given your life experiences, what would it be?
I don't know. I just want to do better. You know, help them do better. That's better than I had.
What about you, Mom?
Well, I always thought we had everything growing up, you know. We really had a good home as far
We
as,
did.
you know, and we didn't seem to lack.
We had
They
plenty to
really
eat.
did.
We had plenty to eat.
Yeah, Mama was always cooking, you know.
Some kids had nothing. They come to school, they had nothing. They had nothing at home. Nothing.
I would say make a nice home for your children, you know, grandchildren.
Yeah.
Give them memories, good memories, to draw from when they need to.
Yeah.
Because we're here for one reason, and that's to glorify God. There's no praise from the grave. So.
Jody was, when we bought the house in Gladstone, she couldn't believe it. She said, "Do we have to live here?" Because I had tore everything apart, you know, start over. Because we got it for $10,000, but it's what a mess, you know.
Sounds like a teenager.
Yeah.
Mom.
But it went. We got everything all fixed. I got it all done. Then after I retired, I had money, so I went and had the whole thing sided, all new siding put on. And I put new windows in it first, and then new siding put on. Put finished the walls and everything. You
It
know.
always looked nice.
Yeah.
You know, so we kept everything up.
Oh yeah, that's maintenance was the main thing.
Well, walls were always full of.
The Gerald came over and put all plastic plumbing in. You know, took all the old junk out, threw it right out. And that's when he first started with it. That was the best ever. They get rid of all that stuff. Galvanized and steel. I mean, that would rust. All rust, everything rusted up. PVC was the best. It still is. Nice stuff to work with.
Is that what you said when we moved to Gladstone? You have to live in this
I
house.
don't know. I just want to be back in Park River when we. Remember, I think I told you I'm gonna live when I grow up. I'm gonna live back in Park River, and you said, okay.
Well, that's what
We got Bark River, you know.
I
We
couldn't.
left Bark River, but we couldn't get Bark River out of our kids.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get out here. You know. Finally sold the house. Took a long time to sell it, but got it sold, and I was so happy. I was so happy to come out here because I had the property. You know, for God's sakes, I'm paying taxes on it. Yeah, finally. The key had that dog. His name was Ellie. I took that dog out here to the farm, and I was getting stuff ready to look around all the paperwork, and I said, "Go ahead, Ellie, run." You know, let's let her go. All over the farm. And it was like she didn't know what to do. But she ran around and she come back. She say to me all the time, that dog was with me all the time. Never was tied up, never. Only at night. I forgot to tie her up at night by her shed. And she's scratching at the door. He said, what's the matter? I forgot to tie her up. I tied her up and then she went in and went to sleep. She had to be tied up. She wanted to. Otherwise, I never tied her
It
up.
was a habit.
Security.
Yeah.
Next door, they won't let that one out. Let him run. Let him run. Get upside. Let him run. We had ours out, you know. Let her run a little bit. Of course, I try to get after her. Poppy now, don't chase the deer. The deer are close by. She took off and went wide open. I don't know if she went on the field or not, but she come back, you know.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.